Imagine sitting quietly. The breath is slow. Thoughts drift in, drift out. There's no judgment, no pushing, just presence. Now imagine that same quality of presence being harnessed in a therapy room, helping someone with anxiety, depression, chronic pain. One comes from ancient silence, lineage, wisdom. The other from science, diagnostics, clinical trials. What if these two, Zen Buddhism and modern psychology, are more connected than we often assume? Today, we explore Zen Buddhism and mindfulness in modern psychology. Its roots, how it's applied today, what is gained and what might be lost. Welcome to the unfolding journey, a space for exploring deep wisdom, authentic healing, and practices that awaken presence in everyday life. If you're seeking clarity, peace, or simply a deeper understanding of your own experience, you're in the right place. What is mindfulness? Origin and meaning in Zen. In Zen Buddhism, mindfulness is not simply paying attention, but a way of being, rooted in awareness of one's body, breath, thoughts, mind, moment by moment, without clinging or aversion. Practices like Zazen, seated meditation, cultivate this attention and awareness. One sits with posture, breath, sometimes with koans or just sitting, shikantaza, observing without interference. Key ideas include non-judgment, presence, non-attachment to thoughts, impermanence, awareness of how mind creates suffering. Modern psychology and mindfulness, how it got integrated. In recent decades, psychological therapies have borrowed mindfulness practices and adapted them into therapeutic models. Mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, is perhaps the best known. It uses meditation, body awareness, breath work to reduce stress, improve emotional regulation, physical pain, and general well-being. Then mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, MBCT, applies mindfulness together with cognitive techniques to help with depression relapse prevention, for example. A broader set of therapies, acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, compassion-focused therapy, also incorporate mindfulness elements. Awareness without judgment, acceptance, observing thoughts/emotions rather than reacting automatically. What psychology gains from Zen mindfulness? Empirical evidence and measurable benefits. Numerous studies show that mindfulness practices can reduce anxiety, depression, stress, improve attention, emotional regulation, sleep, chronic pain. Psychology brings measurement, validation, accessibility, and scalability. Therapy models, apps, courses make mindfulness accessible to many who might never engage in a traditional Zen practice. Practical tools for daily life. Therapies give structured tools for applying mindfulness in difficult emotional states, trauma, mental illness, not just retreat or monastic settings. Integration with science of brain and behavior. Psychology and neuroscience help to understand how mindfulness changes neural circuits, improves resilience, modulates stress response, etc. What might be lost? Simplifications and tensions. Context and ethical foundations. In Zen, mindfulness arises within a broader ethical, moral, metaphysical framework. Teachings on no-self, impermanence, compassion, interdependence, enlightenment. Therapeutic versions sometimes strip much of the religious/spiritual context. Goal differences. Zen's goal is awakening/realization. Psychology's goal usually is alleviating suffering, mental health, functioning. These goals can overlap, but are not identical. Depth versus ease. Some versions of psychological mindfulness present it as a quick fix or stress management tool. Zen, by contrast, often requires discipline, willingness to sit with discomfort, to encounter deep inner resistance, not always easy or pleasant. Risk of commodification. Mindfulness has become popular, commercialized. There is danger in reducing it to mindful performance, productivity, or feel-good practices, detached from inner transformation. Potential misunderstandings. For example, seeing mindfulness as suppressing thoughts instead of observing them, or equating presence with passivity rather than engaged awareness. Key areas of convergence. Attention regulation. Both Zen and mindfulness-based therapies emphasize training attention, being present with whatever arises, refining focus, noticing when distracted. Awareness of thoughts/emotions as transient. Observing thoughts/emotions without identifying with them, letting them arise and pass. Zen teaches non-attachment. Psychology uses similar metaphors, e.g. thoughts are like passing clouds. Non-judgmental awareness and acceptance. The attitude of openness, compassion, non-aversion, even toward difficult feelings, is common in both. Embodied practice. Zen's emphasis on posture, breath, body awareness finds echoes in modern therapies' focus on mindfulness of bodily sensations, breath meditation, etc. Mindfulness as intervention for suffering. Both see suffering not only as to be treated or removed, but as something to be understood, accepted, and transformed. Case studies/examples. John Kabat-Zinn's MBSR, secular program that draws upon Buddhist meditation techniques to help people cope with chronic pain, stress. MBCT, mindfulness-based cognitive therapy combining mindfulness with CBT to help prevent relapse of depression. Use of mindfulness in therapies for anxiety, PTSD, pain management, addiction, sleep disorders, etc. Also, research using neuroimaging shows meditation practices change brain areas related to attention, self-awareness, emotional regulation. Ethical and practical considerations. Ensuring mindfulness is taught with integrity. Teachers/practitioners must understand its deeper roots, ethical basis, not just the surface technique. Adapting to cultural context. How mindfulness is perceived, what interpretations people bring. Making sure that appropriation or misunderstanding does not lead to misuse or superficial practice. Ensuring that mindfulness interventions suit the individual context. What works clinically might not map exactly onto spiritual aims. Encouraging long-term commitment rather than viewing mindfulness as a tool for occasional stress relief. Living the interface. How one might integrate Zen and psychological mindfulness. Try combining regular Zen meditation practice, zazen, sitting, shikantaza, with mindfulness exercises used in therapy, body scans, mindful breathing, noting thoughts. Reflect on ethics. Incorporate compassion, care, non-harm, kindness into your mindfulness, not only at the level of internal experience, but in actions. Use presence in daily life. Moments of awareness in ordinary tasks, not only formal meditation. Be willing to face discomfort. Use mindfulness to observe not just pleasant states, but difficult emotions, fears, habitual patterns. Cultivate openness to inner transformation, not just symptom relief. Zen Buddhism and modern psychology's mindfulness practices are deeply intertwined. Zen gives us the roots, ethical depth, spiritual wisdom, teachings on no-self, impermanence, awakening. Psychology gives us measurement, clinical applications, accessibility, tools for healing and mental health. Together, they can provide a fuller view, one that attends both to healing and awakening, to suffering and transcendence, to mind and heart. But it requires care to preserve the richness of Zen, to avoid superficial treatment of mindfulness, and to honor what mindfulness really means beyond trends. If you found this exploration useful, insightful, or even challenging, please subscribe to The Unfolding Journey. Hit the bell so you won't miss future videos where we dive into how ancient wisdom and modern science intersect. In the comments, share. What has mindfulness meant to you? Have you practiced Zen meditation or mindfulness therapy? How has it changed your life? Or where do you feel tension or confusion? Thank you for being here. May your presence deepen, your awareness grow, and your journey be ever more awake.